Clapback by Nalo Hopkinson. From Black Stars, a collection of Amazon original stories. Performed by Adenrale Ojo. Wenda lifted the final items out of the last of the boxes. Apron, mask, surgical gloves, paintbrush, and a tightly sealed jar. She donned the protective clothing, then held the jar up to the light. The clear liquid inside sloshed with viscosity of slightly soapy water. To look at it, you would think it was water. Wenda'd been stashing it in her fridge. A couple of times she'd absent-mindedly been about to drink from it, till the smell, a combination of heavy fleshiness and ammonia, had alerted her. After that, she'd labeled the jar clearly with "I win," and sealed it into a sandwich bag for good measure. I win. That's what Wenda had dubbed the invisible sprites floating in her custom blend of plasticizers, amino acids, and dissolved glucose. The English word, ghost, didn't quite do it for her, so she'd gone with her dad's native Yoruba word. The world had other names for what the Iwin were, micro this, pico that. But these were hers, obedient to her, so she'd named them as any doting mama would. What had eventually worked as a carrier with a strain of Clostridium sporogenes her poor cat Sable had picked up. The vet said he'd probably gotten cut or something while roaming around the fenced backyard. The infection had gotten into the bone. He'd looked as though he were rallying, so the vet had let Wenda take him home. But Sable died a few hours later. Wenda buried him in her landlady's backyard. She figured it was only justice that she enslaved the nasty strain, put it to work as payback for Sable. With any luck, the Iwin had infiltrated the bacteria, suppressed the natural eukaryote behaviors, and replaced them with the Iwin's own programmed ones. Thank heaven for that double major. Even so, the coding that had gone into the Iwin had been a stone bitch. She'd found a code string on the dark web and blended it into one of her own, adding wake and cease prompts and a trigger. Tricky, but she'd finally gotten it as close to right as she could tell. Stroke of luck, finding the string that the poster said had fallen off a truck. It consisted of instructions for penetrating and altering dense substances, just what she'd needed. With the paintbrush, Wenda carefully coated each of the horrid memorabilia with the liquid from the jar. People wrinkled their noses at the smell wafting up from the table. Life and unlife in combination. As she worked, she quietly whispered over and over, breathing the words into the still wet coating. "Please make this work. Please make this work." Maybe speaking her intention would help. It certainly couldn't hurt. Intention was plenty. It had brought the horrors on the table into existence after all. Done. She set her paintbrush down. Now she had to work quickly. Only a couple of minutes before the plasticizer penetrated the pieces. She took down her heavy dreadlocks, silver-threaded after years of grad school. This part of the work was better done with unfettered hair. She pulled the whistle out of her apron pocket. She'd carved it from a thigh bone of Sable's, cutting around the infected part. It was clumsily made, full of chipped-out places. Wenda hadn't known how to carve, so she'd followed an online tutorial on making a whistle out of dried bone. She'd given herself a bunch of accidental nicks. She discovered that rubbing the blood into the bone and then polishing the surface gave the whistle a pleasing brown stain, like antiquing. Heart-thrumming, Wenda blew a breathy tune through the whistle. She'd designed those notes. Those particular vibrations played in that order and that timbre to activate the Iwin. This was modern-day hoodoo. Time was, you'd have to boil a black cat alive, not salvage from an already dead one.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.